We are back on a page we were before, our people page here, and in our organization we have one member now. But as we saw, specifically allocating repository access to a dedicated member, meaning if we have two repositories in our organization and the member should only be allowed to have read access to an individual one, this was not possible. Therefore, as we did it for the collaborator, I'll now remove this member because I think we understood the member feature. So let's remove him from this organization. Yes, I want to remove the member. And now let's explore the Teams ribbon over here, this one. As we see, Teams seem to be awesome. They allow seamless communication and, important for us in our case, we have flexible repository access, so we can add repositories to our team with different access levels. Admin, write, read. So that's exactly the direction we are looking for. Of course, there are more features, more topics to explore between collaborators, members, and teams, but I think for the purpose of this course, diving deeper into this, well, what can be done in a repository and not topic is very important, especially when getting started with Git and GitHub and when setting up your first projects here on GitHub. Enough of the talk, let's create a new team with this button down here. And first we give this team a name, and well, this name will be the GitHub course team. We can add a description. I recommend you to do that, but in this case it's not required, I guess. We don't have any parent teams, so there is no team above this team because you can also create, well, teams inside teams, not what we do at this point here. And also the team visibility can be defined here. So visible simply means that if we mention a team inside an organization, well, then anybody in this organization can see this. As you can see, a secret team can only be seen by its members, so we'll go with the visible option right here, which is also the recommended one. So let's create this team now. There it is. Now we are inside the GitHub course organization and there inside the GitHub course team. In this team, we don't have any discussions, so we can add discussions here at this page. We'll do this very soon. And just to be sure, if we go back to the organization here, we are in this team's ribbon, and here we can't see a lot, but if we scroll down a bit, you see that we have this team inside our organization with one member. That's again myself, basically the owner of this organization. So let's go to the team page once again. There you have this discussion ribbon, as you see it, so you can, for example, click right here and then add comments to your team to start new discussions. For example, if you say, hey, we have a problem here and there, we have to tackle this until a certain deadline. So these are things that can be added right here. I want to focus on to the interaction part from a repository perspective though, therefore we'll cancel this here. In the members area, we have one team member, but very important, here we are not talking about an organization member. This is a team member now. By the way, this child team members is something we could explore here in the teams area. There you could create a team inside a team, and then this will be a child team, but we'll get started with the general team topic. Therefore, we'll leave it with this single team here. Now, before we dive deeper into adding a team member, I'll first go to the repositories tab once again. And we'll add a repository in here. So let's do this. And in here, we can now assign a repository, an existing repository of our organization to this specific team. So we cannot create a new repository in here. It's all about assigning repository responsibilities, so to say, to dedicated teams. Here we could say that we add the repository, the team members should have read-only access to this team. Therefore, we'll type in member. You can see here, you already get the repository there as a suggestion. So let's select it. And let's add this repository now to this specific team. This is added, as you see it in here. You can also change the permission level for the team members for this repository in here. We'll go with read only though. So this is the first repository, and actually we will also add the second one, because in theory now the goal would be to have both repositories with access for the team members. But one repository, this read-only one, should only have read-only access. And if we go back to our organization once again, to the repositories inside this organization, for this organization repo 1, the team members of this team should also have write access. Therefore, back in the Teams ribbon, scrolling down and selecting our GitHub Course team here, I'll go to repositories once again, and there add another repository, this organization repo 1, this one. So let's also add this repository. Yes, we want to add it to the team. And at the moment, both repositories come with read access for the team members. Here, I would like to change this though. I would like to change the organization repo 1 access from read to write here, for example. And this here, if it works, and it should work, of course, this is something we couldn't achieve so far with collaborators or with normal members of the organization. Here, teams come with a great amount of flexibility. Therefore, let's now add a team member, and let's see if this works. For this, I'll go to the Members tab now. There, I'll add a member. I'll again use my Manu Lawrence, so the name you please don't use. So here you see we can now invite this account to the organization and the team we are currently in, the GitHub Course team. So let's do that and send the invite, as we did it quite often throughout this course. You see that now this member will receive access to two different repositories. The first repository here with write access and the second one with read access. So that's exactly what we want to have. So let's add this member. Again, as for all the invitations we sent out in GitHub, you can see that we have one pending member now. We can of course also explore this here and see that we have one pending invitation, which we could also edit right here, which we won't do. Therefore, I'll again go to my other account now and accept the invitation. I did this again with the other account, the earlier collaborator account, so to say. And now we'll join the GitHub Course organization via this link here. And now we are a member of this organization. What we can see in here now is, of course, that we have access to different repositories and that we can access these repositories here in the repository ribbon. We can, of course, also click into the repositories. These are all the normal GitHub features that we can use here. We can also go back and have a look at Teams here. If we scroll down, we can find that we are part of the GitHub Course team now. The team has 2 members, and if we click onto this option now, we can find out more about the team. It's basically the same window that we had before in the other account. Can find more about the members. You can see it in here. Of course, we can't change the roles. That's important because here we don't have any admin or owner rights. We are just a normal, member of this team, so to say. And if we go to the Teams ribbon, we can see that we are able to also create a new team if we want to here. Besides this, here in the repositories tab, we have access to these repositories. There we can also find out more about our access rights. So read and write here. And of course, we can't change this.